With Angus seeking other employment, now is a good time to review the town manager style of government, and what would you like to see in a successor for the role?
So I see both sides of a way a town's political system is set up. Having a town manager, in a sense, is like running a business, right? So this town is a business, and you have someone who's in charge of the business to make sure everything is done. At the same time, I do like a mayor kind of situation sometimes a little bit more because I think the people as a whole in the community get a chance to pick the employee of this town, right? Whereas, a town manager is more or less more internally interviewing with, select board members and other people of the town. And you're really kind of isolating how that person or your leader is going to be, kind of picked, right? Um, I don't really have Angus, I didn't have any issues with him at all. Like for the time that we've been living here, I think things have been running pretty smoothly with the town. There's really no issues that really popped up that was really, you know, terrible, that you just didn't want to live here and type of thing. Um, but for something I want to see for a new town manager would be someone who's very transparent and can kind of like, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. This is how much it's going to cost. How do we get to, from point A to point B? I think transparency is extremely important. I think a lot of times when you talk to candidates and you talk to people who are in politics, I think a lot is lost and a lot of trust is lost when you're not hearing the entire story and how you're going to get there. And just be honest with people. If it's going to be tough to get to, what you want for your ultimate goal, just explain to them. And that's a good way to get people together to figure out how things can be done, in a organized and efficient and, financially responsible way.
So kind of to summarize, you think that the town manager style works, but you would like to see
Yeah,
transparency ultimately.
I think so. I think most towns, I think if elect the person to be, I think that also puts a lot of accountability on the person to elect to, right? So, if you have someone who's mayor and they're running the town and you don't like what they're doing, you as the people have the power to vote him out, vote him or her out next election, right? When you have a town manager, it's a little more difficult because I feel like it's a person who's in charge, and then you have to get to the select board, so you have to figure out a way. It's not just you're doing a bad job, kind of thing. And I think that kind of takes the politics a little bit out and makes it more like a company rather than a community. And there's a lot of difference between running a company and running a community. It's boss says what it is, and that's how it's going to go. When you're in a community, we all come together and we can decide on how things can be done.
The previous town was the select board driven, and when they went to the town manager form of government, I don't think it was ever properly explained to all the boards and committees in town. And so what has happened is there's a distinct difference in how the two operate and who's responsible for what. So it's created a lot of friction. So I want to say, first and foremost, Angus has done a phenomenal job for this town as our first town manager. And myself and Wendy, the other current select board, wish him all the best in his next endeavor, whatever that may be. What was the second part of the question?
What quality would you like to see in a successor?
So, okay, let me sort of back up. As he's leaving, what we realized is there's an opportunity for the town to reset right now. So we have put out to hire for a human resources manager. We just signed the contract this week for an operational assessment of town hall to make sure that people are in the proper jobs and have the proper tasks and the ability to do them. Because I think one of the things we realized was that he's the town manager, he's a finance director, and indirectly he was our human resources manager. That was way too much work for any one person to accomplish. Yet he still did it, but it impinged on his personal life. He's working an awful lot of hours to accomplish it for the benefit of the town. So we realize that, and that's how we're going to move forward, and I think for the betterment of everybody. And the characteristics for a new town manager, I obviously need somebody to use the word manage, to manage the people. We don't need a town manager who knows every job intimately. We need a town manager. So like in baseball, you don't have to be able to play every position. You have to know how to manage the personalities and get the most out of those personalities. With that said, the personalities and the people we have and when I say town hall, I mean town hall, the library, police, fire, and volunteer boards and committees. We have an extraordinary group of people. So I think with the right person to manage all these personalities at the highest level, it should be a very reasonable task if we can help them with the human resources director and making sure we've got the right people in the right slots with the right hours allocated.